Good evening, everyone. My name's Rom Ravita. I'm the head of sales here at Go Markets. Just before we begin, just want to say thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us for our first ever Autochartist webinar. Basically, Autochartist is a trading tool which we provide to our clients. It's known for its powerful chart pattern recognition tool that automatically scans massive quantities of market price data to detect predefined patterns as they form, saving valuable time and effort for all traders. Presenting this webinar is Ilan Azbel, the CEO and one of the original founders of Autochartist. Just before we begin, just wanted to let you all know that after the webinar, both Ilan and myself will stay around to answer any questions. Now, due to the volume of questions we normally get, it's not possible to answer all of them. So if by chance we don't get to answer your questions, just simply email our support department. The email details will be brought up to you after just towards the end of the webinar. So email any questions if we don't get to answer them tonight, and we'll reply back to you first thing tomorrow. So as I said, presenting the webinar is Ilan Azbel. He's the CEO and one of the original founders of Autochartist. And Ilan, if you would like to begin, please go ahead.
Hey, hello. Thank you, Ron, for that introduction. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm actually privileged and honored to actually be allowed to speak to you all. Thank you to everyone at Go Markets to give me this opportunity. And of course, thank you to you all for joining us this evening. My objective in today's webinar is not to teach you how to trade with Autochartist. That's going to be the topic of the next webinar. Today's webinar is just going to be about giving you an overall view or overall idea of what the platform entails. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about specific opportunities or specific types of trading techniques. So I just want to kind of lay the groundwork and the expectations for today. I'll show you the basic functionality of the platform. I'll probably go into the MetaTrader platform and show you how it integrates into MetaTrader, and you'll leave today's webinar knowing at least the power of Autochartist, and you'll be in a good position to decide whether you want to join us for the next webinar. I hope that's good for all of you. Okay, so let's get going. What you see in front of you is the Go Markets Autochartist platform. The way to actually get into the Autochartist platform, as you see it in front of you, in front of a web browser, is by launching it through your MetaTrader. I'm just going to bring up my MetaTrader and show all of you. Your MetaTrader screen comes up. It might not have all the lines I've got on it right now, but after you install the Autochartist plugin, you will find, and I'm highlighting them now, you will find some Autochartist indicators on the left-hand side of your screen in the custom indicators section. And to launch the Autochartist application, what you need to do is you need to drag and drop the indicator that's called Autochartist Web Application and drop it onto your chart. And make sure that you have Allow DLL Imports ticked. Okay, and you click OK, and your Autochartist web application should come up in your browser. I'm going to click Cancel here because I already have that installed. To get the Autochartist plugin for MetaTrader, you need to actually send a request to your customer support representative at Go Markets, and they will send you the link to download that. I do understand that there will be a web page coming soon with that link to download. But for now, you need to ask your customer services representative. So once you drag and drop that indicator onto the chart, what you'll see is a platform that looks something like this. And that is the Autochartist web application. And And maybe this is a good opportunity while I have you on the line right now. I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but what you can see is some of you should be seeing some orange icons on the left-hand side of some of the opportunities. And what those icons actually tell me is that Autochartist has identified new opportunities right now on the market for you, right? So this opportunity that has popped up, the first one there that's just been identified right now is GBPJPY. So it looks as if Autochartist believes that that the pound is going to devalue against the Japanese yen for a little bit, and you can see quite clearly it did a pretty good job of identifying the support and resistance levels. This is a channel pattern, right? Parallel support and resistance level, parallel support and resistance levels. Okay, let's click through a few of these other patterns that it just identified. This pattern that was identified now is an ascending triangle. This is Australian dollar against the Swissy. You can see quite a definitive resistance level. That's the green line, and a support level, and the price is tending towards the resistance level. Another one, inversely, Euro Aussie dollar looks as if it's the other way around. It's a descending triangle, right? And then another opportunity is on GBPJPY. This is on 30-minute data, right? So we had the same opportunity on the 15-minute data, and now the same opportunity on the 30-minute data. I actually personally love opportunities that are correlating to each other across different time granularities. So this is great. So let me kind of, I skipped ahead, but I just wanted to take the opportunity right now while I have some orange icons on my screen to show you what those icons actually mean. And you didn't actually hear it, but you also get an audible sound in the background when Autochartist identifies the patterns. So if you have the Autochartist platform running in the background, then you will hear the audible sound. Okay, so let's actually talk about some of the opportunities that Autochartist provides you. You can see these latest few opportunities that I showed you. These are what we call emerging patterns. Emerging patterns, that means they have not yet broken through support or resistance. Okay, and I can tell that with one glance at Autochartist because they only have these gray up and down arrows. Okay, if we clicked on the opportunity that has a green up arrow or a red down arrow, that means there's actually been a breakout. Okay, so what does this actually mean? A breakout means that it's actually broken through a support or resistance level. Now what does this all mean? Okay, so from a trading perspective, some of you may be what we call swing traders. Others may be trend traders. So a swing trader, for example, would absolutely love this type of opportunity because a swing trader trades sideways movements, right? Up and down movements and movements between the lines. Okay. So for example, in this example we have on my screen right now, this is an opportunity, potentially to go short on GBPJPY down to this support level. On the other hand, you have trend traders. Trend traders, they trade the trend. I'm sure you've all heard this before in the markets, right? The trend is your friend. Trend traders would prefer to play these kind of breakouts and then expect a continuation in the trend. Certainly from a trading perspective, and you'll kind of get to know these things as you become more expert in the art of chart patterns and support and resistance. This is a nice trend initially before the start of the pattern, then a strong resistance level and a breakout. At the conclusion of the pattern. So this is quite a nice pattern to trade potentially. Okay. So now let me quickly take one step back and explain to you what Autochartist is really based on. Autochartist identifies opportunities not on moving averages and RSIs and Bollinger Bands and MACDs and stochastics. It doesn't do that stuff. That stuff is all done very well by your trading platform. Autochartist identifies support and resistance, and support and resistance are really these peaks and troughs and psychological levels in the market, right? They are psychological levels that are supposed to indicate overbought and oversold signals in the market. Okay, now so these types of things cannot be identified using normal arithmetic equations, right? They're only identified using some sophisticated statistical equations that Autochartist, obviously gives to the use of. So they're completely different from the indicators you're currently using, which is quite nice, because when you're trading, what you're looking for is multiple indications to buy or sell something, right? So if one of your technical analysis indicators, like a moving average, tells you to buy or sell something, and then there's also some fundamental news in the market that's telling you to buy something, that same thing, and there is a chart pattern, a support or resistance level that tells you to buy or sell something. Those are all confirming indicators, and this is the power really of using multiple indicators in your trading, and indicators that are not related to each other in any way. That's really the way to trade successfully. So I'll just give you a few quick hints on outlining some of the sections of the Autochartist application. So you can see obviously the first two columns are self-explanatory. They are the exchange and the symbol. The next column is an up arrow or down arrow, a gray arrow meaning it's still emerging, it hasn't broken through support or resistance, and a colored arrow, green or red, tells you it has already broken through support or resistance. There's an interval, right? Those are the size of the candles. I'm seeing everyone's got a lot of issues with the mics, and I'm sorry about that. I'm right here, right next to my mic. It's very strange that people are having trouble with the mic. Okay, I'm going to try and talk a bit louder. Hopefully, I won't fade in and out. The next column is the pattern. It tells you the description of the pattern. That's just the pattern name, the time it was identified, the quality, and I'm not going to go into the quality right now. That's a topic for the next webinar. The type, as I said to you, the type is either approaching or breakout, right? And then the length. The length is the number of candles that have actually formed the pattern, right? So this pattern here that we have in front of us was made up of 27 candles. And then the age, and I want to talk about the age column just a little bit. So the age is really how old this pattern is, okay? So this pattern that I've got in front of me is 0 candles old. That means it's a newborn pattern. If we click on one of these other opportunities here, this is, well, let me choose a shorter opportunity where it's more clear. So here you have another opportunity on US dollar Japanese yen, where you can see it's 1 candle old, and if we zoom into this pattern, there's actually a little candle on the end. You can see it's a transparent candle, and this transparent candle tells you that this candle occurred after the pattern has actually been formed. Okay, so this actually happened subsequent to the identification of this opportunity. Okay, and Autochartist is beeping at us some more right now, and it's coming up with more opportunities in the market. Okay, so actually two more quick things that I want to show you on the screen is the first thing is the filter section, and what I've done is I've opened up the filter section, and you can see that I actually have the ability to tell Autochartist which opportunities to show in the market. So if I am not a swing trader, if I'm just a trend trader, then I should uncheck anything that says emerging on it or approaching. And you can see that all the opportunities that Autochartist has right now in the market are now that are shown on the screen. Once you've unticked those emerging and approaching patterns, are actually breakout opportunities. And this is quite a nice one. I like this one, GBPUSD on 4-hourly, 4-hour candles. It's a triangle, very nicely formed. And similarly, if you're a swing trader, you can actually just uncheck the completed and breakout, and then you'll only get swing trading opportunities. Over and above that, if you want to narrow your search down a lot, and this is only if you know what you're doing, okay? So if you're an expert technical analyst, Autochartist gives you the power to do more advanced search criteria. So if you click on the new search button, Autochartist will give you the ability to filter on which types of patterns you want to actually trade on, the quality of the patterns, many types of different filters. And I'm not going to go into those today because today is just an overall view of the pattern of the platform itself. In the next presentation, which is going to be a more in-depth technical presentation, I will go into the specific patterns and custom searches. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you in the Autochartist application is an answer to the second most frequently asked question we have at Autochartist. So the most frequently asked questions people ask us obviously is, what should I trade and in which direction? Okay, now the second most frequently asked question is that people ask us is, where do I set my stop losses and take profits? Okay, so raise your hands, although I can't see you raising your hands, but I'll just trust you that you're actually raising your hands because I'm raising my hands. Raise your hands if you've ever had this happen to you. Okay, you place a trade, let's say long, you set a stop loss, the market goes against you, knocks out your stop loss, and then turns and goes back in the direction you initially actually forecast. Okay, if you're not raising your hand, then you're not being honest. Okay, because that's happened to almost every single trader that I know. Okay, and let me tell you, there's no one to blame but yourself, and I'll tell you why. Okay, it means that you're setting stop losses which are not appropriate to the current market conditions. Okay, let me show you a quick tool in Autochartist that will actually help you with some of that. Obviously, you can never prevent those kind of moves, but certainly it'll prevent it from happening all the time, which is what used to happen to me when I first started trading. So if you click on the volatility analysis section in Autochartist, it gives you some nice information. I'm going to come back to this top graph in just a moment. I'm just going to scroll down for just a sec and show you an interesting graph that is shown below. Okay, so what we see in front of us right now is the expected volatility on Euro USD for every hour of the day. Okay, so what does this tell us? If you are trading during this time of day here, which is London hours, and especially during this time of day, 8 a.m. New York, okay, you are seeing a lot of volatility on euro dollar. Now, let's ask a question. I mean, I can't hear you answering, but let's actually ask a question of you. This dark green arrow, that is the average movement during 8 a.m. New York time, right? So we can see it's about 20-something, 25 pips on average that it moves. Do we think that setting a 20 pip stop loss is appropriate, for that time of day? The answer is no, it's not appropriate, okay? Because if you go into the market and you're trading euro dollar and you open a position at 8 a.m. New York time and you're setting a 20 pip stop loss, you're going to be knocked out of the market within 1 hour, okay? Unless you're some Superman intraday trader that places 100 trades a day, man, that is too quick. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to make a good call or a bad call. Autochartist gives you a probability. The light green arrow tells you within a 67% probability of the movement range for that time of day. Okay, so at 8 a.m. New York, the average pip movement around 67% probability between 20 pips and 35 pips is your price range movement. So if you're planning to hold your position for more than an hour, you need to set your stop loss a lot bigger than 35%. Right? Now, some of you may not be trading euro dollar at 8 a.m. New York time. Some of you may be trading down here, right? 4 p.m. or 8 p.m. New York time, right? Now, would it be appropriate to set a 20 pip stop loss? No, because a 20 pip stop loss is way out of the price movement. You are going to be holding your position for an extremely long time. And now let me help you fix the initial problem which I spoke about, okay? Which is setting stop losses that are way too small, okay? So if you have chosen a strategy in which you're trading euro dollar and you for some reason decide to set a 10 pip stop loss, and that's your rule, and I see that a lot in beginner traders where they're going to the FX market and say, you know what, I'm only prepared to lose 10 pips, okay? That's approximately $10 on a standard lot, or $100. I mean, $100 on a standard lot, or $10 on mini lot trades. That's my budget. That's what I'm prepared to trade. So they decide on the stop loss of 10 pips, and then they try to trade euro dollar during the London session. Now, man, you're just going to lose all your money because you're just going to get stopped out, because a 10 pip stop loss is only applicable for this time of day over here, right? It's like the close of London, the close of the US session, everything's closed, the markets are closed, you can maybe trade with a 10 pip stop loss. If you try to trade the London session with a 10 pip stop loss, you're dead before you even started. So the most important thing to remember is to set what I call market appropriate stop losses, right? Not stop losses that fall within your budget. If you want your stop loss to fall within your budget, then take a smaller position. Don't compromise the size of your the level of your stop loss. Okay. Now let me scroll back up to the top of the volatility analysis section, and I'll show you something which is the expected price range movement at this point in time, right? So for example, this graph that I'm showing you right now is the expected price range for euro dollar on Thursday at 5:45. I'm set to New York time. And of course, while I'm talking about time zones, on the top right hand side of Autochartist, you can actually set the time zone that you want your Autochartist to give you information on. Okay, so if you're in Australia, you can just scroll down to the appropriate Australia time zone and click it. If you're trading the London session, you set it to Europe, London. Whatever time zone you're in, set it to your appropriate time zone. And of course, you can change the language as well, but that's up to you. Okay, so mine is currently set to New York time. And so if I want to hold my position, let's say I'm trading euro dollar right now, it doesn't matter what I use to enter the position. I could have used Autochartist, I could have used moving averages, MACD, Bollinger Bands, whatever you choose. Whatever you do, just open up Autochartist and have a look at the volatility analysis section and see where you should be setting your stop loss and take profits, right? So if you plan to hold your position for 4 hours, don't set it any closer than 134.72 and 135.67 right now. If you plan to hold a long-term position, then you should be setting your stop loss and take profit outside of 134.50 and 135.89. Now, you actually have access to all these instruments, right? Here's the stats for GBPUSD. For GBPUSD, so right now, if you're planning on trading GBPUSD, The reason I showed you this GBPUSD right now is because I want to go back to MetaTrader later and actually trade this opportunity that I saw earlier in the Autochartist platform. So if you're planning to trade GBPUSD right now and you plan to trade it for an hour, set your prices below 168.13 and 168.44, or above 168.44. Okay, so this volatility analysis section will help you tremendously to prevent you getting stopped out prematurely. It's the most frustrating thing in trading when you're getting stopped out prematurely, only to see the price move back in your direction. All right, and we're already 30 minutes into the presentation, so let me move on. Now, performance statistics. Now, this is the next biggest question that everyone asks, is how well does Autochartist do? So we measure how well we do, but we don't measure it in the way you'd expect. Autochartist does not measure how much money you would have made from its forecasts. That's because how much money you would have made depends on your stop loss strategy, your money management strategy, your take profit strategies, a lot of stuff that goes into checking how much money you would have made. What we do at Autochartist, quite simply, is we check how often we hit our forecast level. Okay. Now, if you click on any of these statistics buttons, you'll actually get that information. So the first column is statistics based on chart patterns. The next two columns are statistics based on key levels, which are really horizontal levels. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the difference between all of those in the next presentation, but for now I'll just show you some of the stats. So these are the stats for key levels, for breakout key levels, right? So that's a horizontal level that's broken through its support or resistance level. Over the last 6 months, Autochartist has identified around 6,000 of these opportunities, of which 4,500 hit their forecast region. But that's not the stats I want you to look at. The overall stats don't really matter to me as a trader. What you want to do is you want to look at specifics. What you want to do is now look at specifics. So you can see Autochartist gives you the breakdown per symbol, right? So for example, Euro GBP has done pretty well over the last 6 months, 73%. But the pound CAD has done even better at 77. Australian dollar Swiss franc has done really well at 84% hit rate. Right? That means 84% of the opportunities that Autochartist identified hit their target level. Okay, and you can scroll down even further and get a better idea of all these different statistics. For chart patterns, the stats look slightly different. For chart patterns, for the last 6 months, we identified around 12,000 patterns, of which just under 8,000 hit their forecast level. It's a 66% hit rate on average. But again, that's not what you should be focusing on. What you should be focusing on are the details. So what has it really been doing well on? Looks like it's been doing well on Euro, Australian dollar, pound, New Zealand dollar. Okay, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar has been doing really well on 70%. And look at the patterns. The patterns are quite interesting. Head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders have been doing really, really well at 84% and 83%, respectively. One of the most interesting indicators of quality in chart patterns is the movement per hour of the day, right? Is when the patterns were identified, and you can see quite clearly that during the London session, Autochartist does really well, and during the US session, it does poorly, right? Not so well, right? Although this is for chart patterns specifically. Although if you look at the key levels stats, that's the horizontal support resistance, those stats look pretty good all across the entire 24-hour range, right? So when you're actually trading Autochartist and looking at these trading opportunities, keep a printout of those performance statistics next to you, so you can actually decide on which patterns to on which patterns to actually trade or not based on stats. Now, having said that, Autochartist does a lot of the work for you. And now what I'm going to click on is the Our Favorites button on the left-hand side. Now, what the Our Favorites section is Autochartist takes the trading opportunities section, combines it together with the performance statistics, and gives you a section called Our Favorites, which is essentially just the highest probability trades that's based on the past performance, right? And again, I have to disclaim this because otherwise the lawyers are going to shoot me. Past performance may not be indicative of future performance, okay? I have to point that out. But what the screen allows you to do is to tell you, okay, give me all the patterns on the Forex market that have had a 70% or greater probability of hitting the forecast region based on the past performance. And then and so then Autochartist filters it down to 3 opportunities. Okay, now this is amazing, because if you are really, really short on time, this is a quick way to see what is available in the market right now for you. Now, I have a completely different take on my personal trading style. I don't go out looking for opportunities, right? I wait for opportunities to come to me. Okay, so some of you may be kind of searching for a reason to trade euro-dollar, searching for a reason to trade a pound-dollar, and just looking for things that will tell you, to trade up and down. I am the opposite. I wait for the trade to come to me, and then I evaluate it, and then I let it go. If I don't like it, I let it go. But something like this, like a pound-dollar opportunity right now, looks very interesting to me. It looks interesting to me because I can see that Autochartist has done a pretty good job of identifying this resistance level. The resistance level hit on the left of the chart over here 1, 2, 3 times. It became support. It had an inverse, a head and shoulders form around that support. Again, touched it a few times, and again, and now it's moving towards it. This is certainly an opportunity that I would consider trading. That is pound-dollar on the 4-hourly chart. And with that, I want to switch to my MetaTrader. So let's bring up pound-dollar. Do I actually have pound-dollar brought up here? Let's bring up pound-dollar right now, the 4-hourly chart. And what I want to do is I want to actually apply my Autochartist indicators to the pound-dollar. So what I would do is I would drag and drop my chart patterns, make sure that my allow DLL imports is set. I can drag and drop my key levels on here, make sure that my allow DLL imports is set. And what I'm going to do for the purposes of this presentation is I'm going to remove the grid lines. I don't like grid lines. And now you can see that you get the same, so let me just zoom in here. You get the same opportunity. You can see that bright green line. That is the same resistance level that Autochartist showed you in the Autochartist platform. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trade this, okay? So I'm going to place a new order. I'm going to buy GBPUSD. Okay, and you can see that I've got a GBPUSD position open at the bottom over there. I've just selected it now. But now what's happening is that I'm sitting naked in the position. And what I mean by naked is that I don't have a stop loss or a take profit applied. Now this is bad. We need to sort that out immediately. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Autochartist volatility analysis indicator. I'm going to drag and drop it onto my screen. I'm going to make sure I've got allow DLL import set. I'm going to click OK. And if all goes according to plan, I should get my volatility analysis information on my screen. And there it is. I'm sure you can see it now. maybe not. I'll just wait for your screens to come up. So what you can see on the right-hand side of my screen right now is the volatility analysis. That means the line. So Autochartist gives you the price range for the next 4 hours and for the next 24 hours. So this gives us a nice indication of where to set our stop losses and take profits. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set my stop losses and take profits according to those levels. So I'll set my take profit here at this 1440 level. That means for the next 24 hours. I'm going to hold my position for the next 24 hours. I'm going to right click, edit this position, and then I can copy I'm going to copy those levels directly off the Autochartist indicator. So I want to set my stop loss at 1.6762 and my take profit at 1.6882. And I modify, and there I have it. I have my stop loss and take profit set. Okay, and now I'm no longer naked in that position, and now I can just monitor my position. So I hope I've shown you in that brief example, and we'll obviously do it in more detail on subsequent webinars. I've tried to show you how Autochartist makes it really simple to actually trade. Right? It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the trading process. And before I go into questions and answers, I'm going to show you 2 more sections in the Autochartist application. The first section is messaging and alerts. If you want a daily snapshot in your mailbox, either once, twice, or 3 times a day, you can subscribe to this what they call the daily market snapshot, and it looks something like this. It's exactly the Autochartist platform and all the indicators from Autochartist, except it's just a snapshot at a specific time of day. Okay, so you can subscribe to this report before the open of the European session, Asian session, or US session in the language of your choice. You can also subscribe to it using a PDF attachment if you prefer reading PDFs instead of HTML emails. You can also subscribe to our analyst research. Our analyst research, because we have some analysts obviously working for us, and what they do is they sometimes like some of the patterns they see on Autochartist, and they actually write about them, right? So they actually add the human element and the human touch to the opportunity. And you can subscribe to those by email as well. Lastly, we have the training community section where you actually have a lot of introductory videos which go into a lot more detail about all the stuff that I spoke about today. There's a user manual, the instrument coverage, a whole array of resources that you might like to look at. And to conclude my presentation, I want to show you my counterparty on the other side. This is Rom. This is what Rom looks like. Good-looking young man. Rom, head of sales, and I'm going to let Rom come in and try help me ask some questions, because I've been concentrating on my presentation rather than the questions panel, and he's going to come now and he's going to kind of highlight some of the important questions that people have been asking so I can answer them. Ron, can I hand over to you?
Thank you, Ilan, for that, and thank you for the attendees. What I'll do now is I'll go through the questions. There's an abundance of questions that have flown, that have come through during the webinar. I'm just going quickly through them now. Most of them, or some of them, are the same questions, so I'll start going through them. Ilan, if there's any questions which I think you can answer better, I'll ask you the question directly. But the first one's A lot of the first questions that are coming in at the moment is what is the cost of Autochartist, and how do I get access? Basically, for those new clients or those who are thinking of joining up with Go Markets, basically to get access to Autochartist, we just ask you to deposit the minimum balance of $500. So basically, for all new clients, it's a minimum of 500. For those existing clients that don't have a minimum of 500, just say they have a balance of 4 or 200, all we ask you to do is just top it up to another $300, so the total is 500, and you can get access. And for those existing clients whose balances are well and truly over 500, all you need to do is just to contact our support desk and just request for a download. Just before I continue, Ilan, are you able to bring up the details of our support? I think it's on the next slide, if that's possible. Fantastic.
It's coming up now. Yep.
Thank you. So hopefully you can all see that. Any questions, or if you are wanting access to Autochartist, please simply email support staff. You can direct your inquiries there as well, or directly to myself. Either way, I'll reply back to you hopefully all by tomorrow. So that was the sort of the majority of questions, the cost of Autochartist and how to get access. Ilan, I'll just go through this now. Yeah, okay, so will there be any follow-up topics, and what would they be on? Ilan, hopefully you can help me out here. Yes, the answer to that question is yes, we would like to. We are planning to offer follow-up webinars. Hopefully we'll be doing one a month moving forward. There is a range of topics. Ilan, are you able to sort of, give us sort of the topics that you provide with follow-up seminars?
Definitely.
With
Right,
Autochartist?
Essentially in the next webinar, certainly we're going to be talking specifically about trading the emerging versus the completed patterns, and what indicators to actually use in conjunction with those support and resistance levels, which is very important. We're going to be talking a lot about all the different quality indicators that are to be found in Autochartist. We're also going to be talking about the setting up custom searches, as well as looking at specific performance statistics. So there are a number of follow-up webinars that we're going to be having, and I normally like to keep webinars down to about 30 minutes. Otherwise, there's too much information. So we'll probably do a number of 30-minute webinars subsequent to this one.
Fantastic, thank you. I'll quickly, geez, the questions are coming in quick and fast, so I'll try to get through them now. Just bear with me. I do apologize, everybody.
No, that's fine. So I see one or two that are quite interesting. While you've been talking there, Rom, if you don't mind, I can just handle a few of them.
Yep.
So one of the questions was, does Autochartist identify Elliott wave patterns, and does it identify Fibonacci patterns? And the answer is, to Elliott wave, no, we do not do Elliott wave analysis. We do, however, do Fibonacci patterns, and this is an example of a Fibonacci pattern that Autochartist identified. So we definitely do offer Fibonacci pattern analysis. And if you want a complete list of patterns that Autochartist identifies, what you've got to do is just go into the new search window, and under the chart pattern section, there is, at the bottom, there is all the chart patterns that we identify. And then under the Fibonacci pattern section, there is all the Fibonacci patterns that we identify. So there are quite a few harmonic patterns, like Gartley, 3-drive, butterfly. There are quite a few harmonic patterns that we do identify. The reason I skip over those in my presentation is for personal reasons, actually, because I don't trade those harmonic patterns, and so I don't like to talk about things I don't understand and don't know about. So I like to stick to chart patterns and support and resistance levels. But yes, we certainly do. We do those. We identify those.
And just in addition to that, hopefully that answers a couple of the questions you should ask. Some of them being, can I add a moving average or stochastic indicators to Autochartist? But as Ilan said, look, it's mainly based on support and resistance and Fibonacci.
The most important thing I think to remember, Rom, is just to clear up for the listeners, is that Autochartist, provides you a tool for identifying support and resistance levels. Okay, so once there's an opportunity that you like, just like the one we liked that I liked on GBPUSD, the important thing is to take the indicator and put onto your MetaTrader and then trade from MetaTrader, right? Because once you're in MetaTrader, you can add whatever moving averages and support and resistance levels you want to add, right? So Autochartist does not compete with MetaTrader. Autochartist just identifies support and resistance lines for you, and then you can take it further in your trading platform.
Fantastic, thank you. Ilan, just a few more questions. You've probably seen them coming through, but we had a question early on. How often does the chart refresh? Does it lag the live price? So I'm assuming that question relates to the time frames.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a very common question that we get asked. So the images you see on Autochartist are static images. They are not live trading images. Okay. So these images are correct at the point in time at which they were generated, which is when the end of the candle was, right? So this is CAD JPY, this example, 15-minute candles. So that candle is correct. What happened subsequent to that over the last few minutes after this opportunity was identified has not been updated on the Autochartist screen. The Autochartist screen will only get updated after the next 15 minutes. To get the live price right now, you have to go into your MetaTrader and actually have a look at what the live price is right now. Remember, Autochartist is not a trading platform. Autochartist is just an analysis platform. The trading platform is MetaTrader.
And thank you, Ilan. And with that, I'll go with that answer. It sort of leads me to the next question, which a couple of you have asked, and that is, I see you trade with technicals, not with fundamentals. Is this always the case with Autochartist?
Autochartist does not do any fundamental analysis, only technical analysis in terms of support and resistance. However, I just want to point out something that that has been my observation and observation actually of many traders that use Autochartist, is that there are a lot of events during news releases. It's amazing actually what happens when somebody changes their interest rates, right? Like the ECB changes the interest rates, or the Fed changes the interest rates, and technicals happen, and suddenly you see your Autochartist platform light up. It's amazing, the correlation actually. But to answer the question directly, Autochartist is technicals only, and it's for support and resistance levels.
Fantastic. Ilan, look, there's a few more, so we'll try to go very quickly. And once again, before I continue, I do apologise for all those people which we won't be able to answer today. But as I mentioned, if you email myself for support, we'll get back to you. But we'll try to go through a few very quickly. One of the questions is, can you link your super fund account to your platform? Yes, you can. For the person who asked me that, I think you know who you are, so just email me directly and I can get back to you. We've got one question, and I think it's a great tool. So, Ilan, I'm happy to for you to quickly show it again. Can you repeat which Autochartist things you put on the chart in MetaTrader, take with trade, and get the stop loss and take profit targets? And that was volatility, which is right. And this is a question which everyone's asking as well. So, Ilan, do you?
Okay, so yeah. So let me show you that again. So this is, I'm just going to switch my screen to a euro dollar screen and wait for your screens to come up. Now, if I'm going to trade euro dollar right now, although there's no opportunity right now on Autochartist, it's irrelevant for the purpose of this question. So I'm going to take the Autochartist volatility indicator. Can you see it says Autochartist volatility on the left-hand side? I'm going to drag that. I'm going to drop it onto the chart. I'm going to make sure my allow DLL imports is set, and I'm going to click OK. And then we give it a moment, and if all goes according to plan, we will get those indicators. Okay, can you all see the Rama, hoping my screen refreshed on your side, but can you all see those levels that Autochartist has provided?
Yes, we can see them at our end. So.
Right, so that one is the Autochartist volatility indicator. That's the one that I use.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think, and look, there's a few of you at the moment that's asking the same question, so in regards to the volatility. As I said before, look, if you've got any further questions or want to know a bit more, just simply email me. Look, we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes, if that's okay. Just a few more questions. For those people who'd like to sort of go through the webinar again, I'd like to inform you that we'll be sending out an email of this recording to all those of you who registered and attended, so thank you very much. But Ilan, I'll quickly wrap it up with just a few more questions.
Okay.
First of all, yeah, just leading up, there's a few questions about binary options, which surprises me a bit as well. The reason being is Go Markets hasn't actually released a binary options product, but we are about to in about 2 weeks. Now, so the questions are coming through at the moment about binaries is, does Autochartist provide analysis for binary options? And I think you've got some up-to-date news for us with that. Is that correct, Ilan?
Actually, yeah, we do actually do analysis for binary options, but I think that is beyond the scope. Personally, I don't trade binaries. I can talk about support and resistance levels, but yes, Autochartist does do some analysis for binary options.
And in saying that as well, and in saying that as well, there's no doubt we'll probably organise a Autochartist webinar again based on binaries at a later date. Look, I think we'll wrap.
Coming through about, oh, you want to wrap it up? I just want to answer two
questions. No, Ilan, go ahead.
I'll just be 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so Autochartist does not do analysis on 1 minute and 5 minute time frames. It only does analysis from 15 minutes and greater than that. The reason for that is because on the very short time frames, the quality of the forecasts really goes down dramatically, down to like 50-50, and that's not why you use a tool, right? So from around the 15-minute time interval and up, Autochartist starts performing in the 65%, 70% kind of a range, kind of correct range. On the lower time frames, support resistance doesn't really work, and you can't really expect any kind of market psychology to play out on those types of time horizons, and so this specifically we don't do analysis in those time horizons. If some of you are missing, some of the indicators, I see Jacqueline was saying she can't see the volatility analysis on her chart. On her plugins, maybe if you can just email the support desk at sorry, let me bring that up again. If you can't email the support desk, the Go Market support desk, they'll send you the link to the latest Autochartist plugin, just to make sure that you have the latest thing. We release new features all the time, so get the latest plugin from them, and you should be able to see everything. If not, just drop them an email, let them know, and they'll escalate the problem through to us.
Okay. Fantastic. Everybody, I'd like to.
Yeah, sorry, Jacqueline actually just said hers is called Power Stats. That's actually the old name for volatility analysis. Thanks, Jacqueline, for that.
So, Jacqueline, in regard to that, sorry, feel free to give me a call tomorrow. and I can assist you with loading the new version onto your screen. And that goes for everyone tonight. Any questions, you can direct them to the support staff and myself. If you'd like to give me a call, the numbers are on the screen there. Please feel free to give me a call tomorrow. I can provide assistance in loading the platform and also give you a bit more information. But rest assured, for those clients who've registered tonight, as I said, we'll be sending you out a recording of this sometime tomorrow. So yes, Ilan, I'd like to say thank you, everyone. Just to let you know, Ilan's is currently in New York. He's been up since probably about 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. this morning. So Ilan, I want to say personally thank you for the webinar today. It's been fantastic. And on behalf of Go Markets, everyone, yeah, we'd like to wrap it up, and hopefully we'll hear from you all soon. So thank